Only took me about 500 tries, but there we have it. So if you remember 4 weeks ago, I sat down and I didn't know how to play the piano. And some would say, and I would agree, that I still don't know how to play the piano. But I can play it a little bit. And as I mentioned before, part of the deal with willing to grow, to learn something new, is accepting the fact that you're going to suck for a while, right? And clearly I still suck, but I suck less. I know more than I did 4 weeks ago. And what I just played there, aside from being my all-time favorite Christmas carol, Once in a Royal David's City, it is the result of what I committed myself to, which was discipline. I told myself that I was going to be disciplined to sit down to the piano every day, 15 minutes, half an hour, what have you, and practice. And no surprise, at the beginning, it was difficult, right? I wasn't very good. It was frustrating to do some of the lessons. And I had to rely on my discipline to get in here and sit down and do that. About 2 weeks into it, things started to change because I did start to get better. And then once I chose the song to learn, and I learned the beginner version, and then I tried the intermediate version, which is the one I just tried, I found that as I was learning the song, the mere act of getting better inspired me to want to practice more. And it's what we talk about all the time in our coaching, is that mastery is the second most powerful form of motivation, intrinsic motivation, that we can experience, right? And I experienced it. The better I got, the better I wanted to get. And so it just became fun. It became fun to get better. And so that pulled me in here every day to practice. And so it was discipline initially, but it wasn't discipline as I went on, as I began to enjoy myself. And so the lesson in that is to find ways in our work to engage mastery, to engage the notion of getting better at what we do, because then it becomes a really enjoyable process, because we start to enjoy the motivation of wanting to get better. In terms of your mindset matters, of course it matters, right? The whole thing started with discipline. I was committed to being disciplined to practice. I did that about 2 weeks, then a different form of motivation kicked in and required discipline less. This intrinsic notion of wanting to get better just became my reason for wanting to get better. So what it proved to me was, the expression, you can teach an old dog new tricks, because what I saw again is what we talk about in the notion of myelination, right? I experienced myelination. And so whether I'm 59 or when I was 19, through practice and repetition, my neurons, the pathways that run from my brain to my fingers to tell them what to do, become myelinated, right? The messages become quicker. And so what I found was that the more I thought about where my fingers needed to go, the more I screwed it up. And the more I was able to let go of that and let the muscle memory just take over, sort of step into that flow state, if you will, and just get out of the way, I played better. But it's funny, in recording this, it took me about 200, well, maybe not 200 times, but a lot of times to get it sort of close. I played much better when the camera wasn't rolling, because I started getting up in my head, right? Worried about, will this be good enough? Am I going to screw up? And I started to interfere with my ability to play the piano. So yeah, I started to live all of the things we talk about with our clients, or when I was coaching rowing, when I was teaching young athletes how to engage in rowing. All of the things I sort of warned them about, I experienced in learning something new, which was a cool experience and a humbling experience. Holy crap, is the piano a humbling experience. Getting both hands to work independently is a moment. And you just can't think. If you think, you do get in the way. And that was an important lesson. So I'm so hooked, if you will. I'm gonna keep going at it, right? In fact, and many of you will laugh at this, but I've actually chosen a Bruce Hornsby song to learn next. And so, so I'll probably check in a year, maybe 2 years, and let you know when I've got the intro mastered. But in all seriousness, I'm hooked. I find it so cool, the challenge of having to learn something new again. And that feels wonderful at my age to be learning something anew. So your mindset matters. Yes, it matters. What it matters for me in this instance is that it is a choice. At any age, we can choose to engage in a new practice and we can learn it, right? We can train our bodies, our minds to engage and master something. And that's a pretty cool feeling. So I don't know if you sort of played along, no pun intended, or tried something new. I hope you did, and I hope it went as well as it did for me. Well, at least I thought it went well. Yeah, good on you. And it's not too late. It is never too late, clearly, to pick up something and try and learn it. So in the meantime, take care of yourselves, share the love, and we'll see you maybe in Carnegie Hall someday, or maybe not. Okay? See everyone. Bye-bye.